Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna Wisdom Tarot. My name is Antoinette, and if you're newly joining, welcome. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, and yes, we have another pick a card. So I'm going to go ahead and run through this. Our subject today is, what would a psychic say about you? Okay, so this is a hype up reading. I want to give you guys a bit of an ego boost. So what would a psychic say about you? We have 3 piles in front of you. And the first pile, I pulled, really quick, I pulled some oracle cards from the Goddess and Sirens tarot deck, from Oracle deck, and also the Gods and Titans oracle deck. So that's how you're selecting. So pile 1. We have the citrine stone here. So you can pick by stone or you can pick by card. We have Vesta, home, okay. And then for the god, we have Achilles, confidence. And if you fans out there of Troy, this character was played by Brad Pitt. So that is pile 1, the Brad Pitt pile, right? Okay, pile 2, we have Thor, and we all knew who played this, Chris Hemsworth. And then for the second one, Yamaya, sorry, Hope. Okay, so that's for pile 2. If you want to pick by the stone is Amazonite today. Hopefully you can see it. All right, and then pile 3, it's White Buffalo Woman, Peace. Really cool card, just gorgeous in person. Hopefully it comes over and does the camera justice. And then Vishnu, Balance. Okay, so you guys know the drill. Feel out the vibes. Feel like what is appealing to you. You can pick, sorry, let me tell you about the stone. We have amethyst here for pile number 3. Okay, so go ahead, meditate on the cards, choose what's appealing to you. And just as a reminder, we're going to go into journal messages, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and I will see you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you picked Vesta, home, or Achilles, confidence, this is your reading. Just give me a second here. And your pile had the citrine right here. I don't know what I was thinking. I put them away right after I pulled. So ridiculous. Okay, so the citrine, this one's yours. We'll put it here. All right. So how this reading is going to work is I'm going to kind of channel based on these first 2 cards, and I'm going to be channeling against the question, what a psychic would say about you, pile 1. And then from there, we'll pull some tarot cards, we'll get additional messages, I'll pull an angel number card by the end of the reading, and a final oracle card. Okay, so right out the gate, this Vesta energy is like beautiful energy. This shows that like you're a woman with a house, or man, or non-binary, but you're a person with your house in order, okay? So you're someone that just has a beautiful mastery of what's going on. People love coming to your home. They feel safe, as in her defensive kind of strike mode, but also like they feel nurtured, supported. They feel like there's a lot of luxury. If you look in the back of the card, there's a lot of luxury there. And so they feel like maybe you have like some cool new gadgets. Maybe you just are an amazing cook, amazing host. People just feel comfortable. Like maybe your house is the house where people just go to the fridge or they just want to hang out, you know? But you definitely have this energy of people feel at home with you and they love being around you, and they especially like being at home with you, being at your home. Now the confidence energy is also coming out very strong. So the Achilles card, confidence, you're very confident in what you do in your life. So it really is reflected at your home. Like You have a lot of things that make you you that's really obvious at your home, and people notice that about you. They really honor that about you as well. They look up to you based on that. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and get into the reading. I'm going to grab some tarot cards now, and the question is, what would a psychic say about you? So right out the gate, the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, it's that stability energy. It's that loving energy. You're that energy where, you know, you have a lot of celebrations at your house. Six of Wands. The Hermit card in reverse. You're very social. You're very social. The Chariot. And we'll stop there for now. I feel like the rest would fall off if I pulled any more. So, okay, let's do some deep dives. Let's talk about the Queen of Pentacles energy. So you notice how she's like very self-sustained. She has her pentacle here. There's a little rabbit by her. There's like, you know, the throne has some really cool design on it. So definitely something of luxury. She looks very content in her facial expression. Hopefully that comes across on camera. So what I see here for you is that this is how people feel in your presence. They feel like you're very content. They feel like you really have a beautiful mastery of how you just make them feel in the house. Like you're very supportive, you're very loving. They just love your energy, frankly. And that comes in very clearly. I'm just going to adjust the cards a little bit here, so I can kind of have them bookended for the energies. Okay, great. So, you know, so this energy, this Queen of Pentacles energy, like this is energy where the Queen of Pentacles, you know, she's in a place of, she's very compassionate, but she's also like very hardworking. She's nurturing, she's practical, and of course she does incredibly well financially. All of these things show in your home life, and so people like, they really are impressed by you. They're impressed by the fact that you are so nurturing. You have such a nurturing environment. Like I said, people want to be in your presence. They want to like follow you at home. They're like, they may even ask like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Can I come over? Like that's kind of the energy that I pick up from you. It's just people want to be around you. This is brought home even more clearly with the Six of Wands energy. This is about like, you know, acclaim. Like people want to be around you, and they really desire, like, you notice how she's, so this would be you on this horse. And like, there's people, you know, holding wands surrounded by her. Like, that's kind of like how they view you. They just view you as like this lead that they want to follow, this lead that they want to hang out with. And so that is a lot of the energy. But one of the things I want to point out is in the Six of Wands card, let me pick this up again and show you. Look at her facial expression here. So she's very like, confident. She's somebody who's incredibly confident. She totally gets her, she totally has such a clear perspective on life and on who she is. And this is really reflected very strongly. Like she understands like her place in the world and has a lot of, we'll say, not only like you have a lot of self-trust, have a lot of pride in yourself, right? You have a lot of confidence, and not only in your like what you've achieved, but the road that you're going on next, okay? So then the Hermit card energy, so the Hermit came out in reverse. And I think this is very telling because to me, it shows you are a very, like you're a person who hangs out with people a lot. So you don't spend a lot of alone time. You may have a busy household, have a lot of friends and family that live nearby. I don't know why it just popped up, but I'm guessing it's true for one of you that's listening, is that your family members literally live like on the same street or around the block. So it's kind of like your home is like this home that everybody gathers at and that they meet at and they just have a good time. So that's definitely your energy, as reflected by the Hermit card. And then the Chariot card, you know, so two major arcana is kind of wrapping up this first part of the reading. What I like about the Chariot card for you is it just has this vibe of like strength and of like success. This is how people see you. Like they see you as somebody where you have a plan. It seems just like you go after things with confidence. Like you notice how she's standing here with her wand. She's got her motorcycle. Like she looks very determined in her expression again. This is that Achilles energy. And so what I find interesting is I didn't even really look at the cards yet when I started shuffling where the oracles would sit, but now I could see why, because the Chariot speaks so beautifully to the confidence card, and it just shows like that sense of confidence. Like even with the Hermit card in reverse, there's no sense of shame of standing out. And sometimes with people who, and not always, because the Hermit energy is actually beautiful energy in tarot, but in this circumstance, I'm being called to talk about there could be times where people want to hide because they lack the confidence to stand out. They lack the confidence to we'll say, hold space in a room, like in an important room or at the table or whatever way you want to call it. And what I see here so clearly is that you do this incredibly well. And so people really admire this about you for sure, but this is definitely something a psychic would talk about, is your sense of confidence and your sense of mastery with your home life. You just have a lot of admirable qualities, pile one. So let's pull a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more information. Okay. So for pile one, what would a psychic say about them? Eight of Cups in reverse. Oh, I'm holding. All right, there you go. Two of Pentacles. You do juggle a lot of responsibilities, but we figured that because of the home card. There was just something about that. Remember how I said celebrations are held at your house? Yes, they are. Like that was from the channeling, but it's confirmed by the Four of Wands. Like people really do love hanging out with you, just being in your presence. It's, you know, you are a home to so many people. That's what you represent. Okay. So this Eight of Cups energy, what is this about? So what I see here for you is that the Eight of Cups energy is this energy where you really don't like to walk away from situations or people. You like to hold it down. You like to fight for people. You like to have conversation, talk through difficult times. So you're not somebody who's going to ghost. You're not somebody who just doesn't communicate. Like if you have an issue, you are very strong with your communication. Now, where I see this is reflected by the Ace of Swords energy. So this Ace of Swords energy is really talking about your ability to communicate and we'll say your drive to communicate too, because to be honest with you, with communication, you're either inspired to communicate or you're not. So this Ace of Swords energy really talks about like you're willing to discuss difficult things and you're willing to use the truth. So you won't hide behind what's convenient to communicate about. No, you stand your ground, you say what you need to say. You understand that at times it could be a difficult conversation, but you honor the desire to be honest and work through problems versus just walking away from them. So what I see kind of looking up as it's related to the Six of Wands, this is another reason why you're very respected and you typically do have a lot of people around you, because they can trust you to say the truth. They don't ever like wonder if you're shooting them straight, kind of a thing. So it's more than just you create this homey place and you don't give up on people and you're so stable and you really do serve as a role model for a lot of people. But it's a bit deeper than that. It's the idea that you're willing to say the truth and you say it in a very, we'll say a consumable way, like in a way that could be understood and received. So it's not overly aggressive, it's not banal and lacking any type of direction. So you communicate in very clear ways, and that's definitely reflected here. Okay, and then what we see here with the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles is coming in talking about you have a lot going on. You're kind of juggling a ton of responsibilities right now. And That includes like trying to figure out your time management. So what a psychic would say about you is that there are times where, you know, needing to take a break could take hold, and they, you know, if a psychic was talking about you to a loved one, they would tell them to like allow it, meaning like if you start going into hermit energy, let them work through that versus like trying to force their way in. It just means that that may be something where you have to shift your priorities and take a little time for yourself because you're so overscheduled and busy and all of that. So it's almost like because you hold such a beautiful open home, open heart for people, at times you are going to need to like step away, step back, and not be able to support at the same level or always open up your house or whatever. And so this would be a message that the tarot reader would actually tell the person to respect that, respect when you set boundaries. So that would be something they would lean in on. Okay, and then the Four of Wands energy. This is that energy where you are the house to hang out at. You are where celebrations happen. You just have that energy. You really like, your home feels like a communal place to meet. Like it's like a community hotspot. Like people want to go there. They want to have conversation. They love the food that they have, and they love the games you play, or you know, the music you play, or whatever. It's just, it's a vibe. And pile one, it is very special because of you. Okay, I'm going to grab 3 more cards of tarot, and then from there we will move on to your angel number. Judgment. 7 of Swords in reverse. These are the final messages the tarot reader would share, and 3 of Swords. Okay. Oops. Drop the deck there. So the Judgment card. You know, this is something to do with, it came on top of the Queen of Pentacles. We talked about how stable she is, how content she is, how she knows where she's going. Same thing with the Six of Wands energy. This Judgment card brings it home. The Judgment card talks about following your inner calling. It talks about a sense of absolution. You're definitely where you're meant to be, where you want to be. This is confirmation of that. This is something that people love about you. It's just you have such a solid sense of direction and understanding. You can stick to routines. You can stick to what needs to be done to be successful. People really admire that about you, and this is something that the psychic would be talking about for you. Then we have the 7 of Swords in reverse. Okay. So the 7 of Swords in reverse, you know, this is a card where it shows that you have worked through, because it's on top of the Victory card and your Truth card, as well as juggling priorities and Hermit. So it's kind of in this zone where lots going on. But let me talk to you about this, because what I see here is this is about imposter syndrome. This is about, you know, self-doubt. This is about being afraid to speak your mind. It's like holding in like your truth and not speaking your truth when you need to, holding it back, holding it in, just like not like just being like, no, never mind, I'm not gonna say anything. This energy is in reverse. So I see that you have really, like you have worked through any desire to shield yourself or hide yourself from communicating the way you want to. That Ace of Swords and that 6 of Wands shows you've worked through this energy. So it doesn't matter how busy you are. It doesn't matter if you have people surrounded by you, because you do. You typically have a lot of people around you. You still will speak your truth. You still will look very confidently forward to what you want to do next. And you have no problem being honest and saying what you need to say in any moment, whether it's uncomfortable or comfortable. And then here we have the 3 of Swords. And this is on top of the Chariot and the 4 of Wands, as well as the 2 of Pentacles and Hermit in reverse. So what I see here for the 3 of Swords is, you know, a lot of times it reflects something of like emotional pain, like being kind of lonely and all of that. But I think what this shows is actually a reflection back to, if you recall, the way the 2 of Pentacles came out with the Hermit in the second part of the reading, is that the tarot the tarot reader, like the psychic, would be telling this person who's asking about you, like, hey, like, don't take it personally if they need time to themselves, or if they're juggling responsibilities and they can't do something you're inviting them to, or they don't invite you over to their house one night because they're just chilling, right? And they don't really want company. This Three of Swords represents them having like this emotional kind of attachment to you, and like the pain, or like feeling a bit hurt from it. And so that's what this represents. And this just kind of true to form shows like how much people are attached to you, how much you mean in their life. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be setting boundaries. Again, this is what the psychic would tell them, which is that you're doing everything right, and they have to kind of step back and give you the ability to take pause, because you're still a human being. You still need recharge time, even though you're incredible, Paula. Okay, so I'm going to pull an angel number card. Oh, of course, this just fell out. 6. I am nurturing. Your heart is your gift. You're a natural born nurturer and have a great talent for helping and healing others. You're the epitome of self-sacrifice and a protector of all those you love, or of those you love. I love this for you, and I think it just plays so beautifully into what we've been talking about for the messages. Like, you know, we talked about your nurturing energy. We talked about how, you know, especially with the Queen of Pentacles energy, we talked about how you're just this place where people come, you know, for help and for healing. And you do that, so you literally open up your home, you open up your heart. So it's really incredible. Okay, so I'm going to get a final oracle message for pile 1. What would a psychic say? Ooh, I like this for you. Okay, card number 42. So 42 could be significant. It could be your age. It could be a number that you've been seeing. But it says, expect a miracle. Alrighty, so you have some blessings in store, pile 1. So this concludes the reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like and shoot me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you connected with. And yeah, subscribe, share if you feel called to. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have for you. Okay, take care, pile 1. Hello, pile 2. If you selected the Amazonite, this is your reading. So, the reading today, what a psychic would say about you. This is going to be an ego boost reading, a little bit of a hype up. I pulled 2 cards here, so Thor and Yemaya. And what I'm going to do is kind of bookend these cards, then we'll work through the messages. Okay. So first, what I want to do is I will channel a little bit on these cards. And so this is what I see for you. You know, you're definitely someone who inspires a lot of hope. You could be very strong in your community, someone who stands out, someone who, and when I say community, you could be part of like a literal like community group or something like that. But I mean, we have so many groups online, so it could be something of that nature. You could be in like a Discord or on, you know, anything, like any type of online group, physical group, but you're definitely someone that people look to for hope. I also see this if you work and the way people, like your colleagues see you, like you're very important, like people see you as someone who they feel like they can go on because you're going on, and because how you handle yourself, it makes them want to do better. It makes them want to step up. So you really hold like they have such a strong sense of respect for you, pile 2. And then the Thor energy, that's that action energy. That's kind of some of the things I saw, like why I thought like this particular messaging may be for like more like community. I could see this as well with like friendships, but I see this more like people looking up to you. So I see it like work related. It could be club related. But they see you as like with such a sense of like respect, because they see you just inspire so much hope. you also are like action in motion. Like you go after what you want, you fight for what you want, and they see that too, that Thor energy. So it's like when it's combined, you are really like very powerful. And so just right out the gate, you know, a psychic reader would talk about your sense of power, the fact that you inspire hope, the fact that you don't give up without a fight, pile two. Like what a psychic would say about you, pile two, is just that you are someone who, there it is, justice, ace of coins. Yeah, you're someone who is fierce and you're fair and you're loyal. The sun card, yes, because who wouldn't feel hopeful when the sun comes out after a lot of rain, right? Like you just feel better when the sun comes out. And that's how people feel about you. Strength. My goodness, pile two. Okay, so already right out the gate, what would a psychic say about you? You know, that we're kind of peering into what they would say if family or friend would ask about you. So what I see here is that you're incredibly fair. So you're somebody who will look at everything, even if something's not like coming for you easily. So I'll make this about work. I'll use this example. Like you could be in a position where you're handling something and a decision was made and everybody's griping about it. And when I say that you're fair and the justice card is out, the way I think about it is like, you see this, you see like, okay, I understand what everybody's complaining about, but you always try to almost put your feet in the other person's shoes, and why would they make that decision? And a lot of times you'd be like, you know what, I don't love it, but like if you think about it, like you're always good about trying to see the other perspective. You always try to be fair. So you're not quick to judge. You're not quick to just be like, oh, this is nonsense. I'm not following this. I don't believe in this. No, you're not that way at all. In fact, you're very in tune with I would say just with like all of the energy around you, and you're very good about considering all variables. You're not going to just like make a severe decision, and you always see decisions, even if they seem really negative, you try to find the silver lining, hence that hope with Yamaya, right? Like you really do have this perspective where you're always trying to see the cup half full. So I was saying energy earlier, I was trying to find a term for it, but I guess you're always paying attention to the actions around you. So I wanted to correct that. So not energy, but like you're paying attention to the actions around you. You're paying attention to how people are receiving it, maybe what the decision was, and you know how you feel about it. And even when you disagree, you still try to be fair. So the next card up is the Ace of Coins energy. And that energy it's abundant energy. It's manifesting energy. What I see for you here is that you always see things as a new opportunity, as a fresh new opportunity. And so when I say abundance, I'm going to lean in on that. Like anything that happens to you, whether it could be perceived as good or bad, you have a tendency, remember I said that cup half full, that's where it comes from. That Ace of Coins energy. It's like you're looking at it as like, well, but maybe I could be abundant because of this, right? You have that abundance kind of thought process. Like, well, maybe this could work out because of this, right? So almost like you're seeing it with a positive light, even when you don't necessarily have any proof around it yet. There's just something natural about you being like, yeah, but I think something good can come from this. This is like such an amazing quality, because that's, again, that hope energy. You're immediately being like, okay, well, you know, the scales did kind of tip in an area I'm not super happy with. And now, well, I guess it'll work out. I guess we'll see. And it's like, that is your gift. The Sun card. You're just someone that people really enjoy being around. You are like the positivity angle. Like you're someone who's very positive. You're warm. You're someone that people really enjoy just spending time with. And what's important for this reading to point out is that if you are all of these beautiful things, Pile 2, which we know you are, and you hold down like this positive perspective, like we said, and you're fair, then the next card is a given, and the next card is strength. You have to have incredible strength to be able to hold this kind of perspective down long term. And that's another major arcana for you. So I want to point out you had 3 major arcana come out. That's really like right out the gate. They're telling you you're a powerhouse. And so Pile 2, like this is something with this strength card. It's just your strength is beyond just physical strength, right? It's not, let's talk about the strength, where it comes from. Having to try to look at the positive end of life when you're having a difficult day, that takes strength. Having to be like, okay, this really bad thing happened to me, but you know what? I'm going to have faith that my next abundant opportunity, my next manifestations around the corner, that takes courage and strength, because it's courage to hold on to something, especially when you've been burned a little bit. Okay? So we just see here a lot of patience, a lot of courage with this strength card. It's not just physical strength. So you have these beautiful qualities. And then at the same time, you have the energy here. So we talked a lot about hope and where that hope comes from. I'm now going to get clarity on the action card because I haven't seen the action part come out quite yet. Okay. Pile 2, what would a psychic say about you? Ace of Cups. Yeah, you're certainly passionate. 4 of Blades in reverse. Interesting. 10 of Cups, very happy life ahead of you. But you're taking the actions to move here. The Empress card. There we go. Okay. Another major arcana. All right, let's do this. So we start with the Ace of Cups energy. You know, that energy is about compassion. You know, strength is about compassion as well. But what I see here for the Ace of Cups is we're talking about compassion, we're talking about love, and we're talking about that guiding a lot of your actions. You think about others as you're putting together an action plan. You think about the impact. You think about the need and the impact. You're very methodical about how you go about things and about how you're going to go after, we'll say, reaching certain goals. Then we have the 4 of Blades in reverse. Hopefully you can see that. So this energy is really like, it's in reverse. So it shows you're very open to make amends with people. Like you're very open to make amends, and you also have had times where you're just going nonstop. Like, and at times maybe you can have felt like you're burning out. This kind of looks at like the manifestation card. Like what I see here for you is that when you're going nonstop, you're almost to the point of burnout. It's like you're showing yourself self-love. Like you go within, you give yourself some rest. Like you're good about acknowledging if you're struggling and doing something about it. So you don't just keep, we'll say, trying to pour from an empty cup. But then we have that Ace of Coins energy. You also have that faith, right? That the manifestation is coming in next. So I think that's the other thing, that it forces you to kind of reset when you have this 4 of Blades moments where you're just like, okay, I need to reset, I need to recharge. Now I said something about reconciliation. I wanna dig into that further. What I see here from an action standpoint is that when there's conflicts, you actually work incredibly hard to, sorry, hold on one second. I'm so sorry about that. I had to cough, I had a dry throat, so I just drank some water. Okay, reconciliation. What I wanted to talk about here is that there's often times like when you're taking action and you're this motivated, maybe sometimes it, you know, inevitably you step on somebody's toes, they're not happy with something that you did, they're feeling a certain type of way. What I see that happens for you is that you're really good about working to reconcile the issue. So you understand, how to lead with action, but I would call it respectful action. Again, with your fairness, this comes up in the Justice card. Like, you're very self-aware, pile 2. Okay. And then we have the Four of Blades. So the Four of Blades energy, we already talked about, sorry. We have the Ten of Cups energy. This energy is pretty fantastic energy. I'll let you guys look at the cards here. So this card, Ten of Cups, we're talking about inner happiness. We're talking about dream fulfillment, love, connection, all of the things. Because this is under the Sun card, it just really shows like this dynamic, warm energy is fed into what is going to be your future. I mean, if you're not already in this space, you'll be there, of this success and vitality and just feeling like your dreams are coming true. And it's because you have such a strong sense of self and you're very willing to get your hands dirty and to work hard. But you also are very mature with how you go about things. So you don't do something, that has a short-term vision. You actually go after things with a long-term vision. The Empress card has come up to wrap up the reading here. This Empress card really leans into, she's a nurturing energy. The Empress is like about abundance again. It's about being, like part of nature and all of that. So what I see happening is that you definitely have a connection with nature. Maybe you like to go hiking. Maybe you're a surfer. Maybe you like to swim. Like with something outside where you feel a sense of connection. It could just simply be you like to go for a drive and, you just enjoy that time. But there's something about you being outside and kind of reconnecting with yourself. And so what a psychic would tell someone about you is that you know how to self-recharge, whatever way that is for you. But you know a way to kind of get back into so when you feel like you're in this grind energy and you're getting a bit tired and the Four of Blades is kind of coming out, where you're like, oh God, I'm getting close to burnout. You have these beautiful tools that you use, like going out into nature and just connecting and being open to just allowing life to happen versus always being in a sense of action. So you have a beautiful balance here, pile 2. Okay, so I'm going to pull an angel card for you. We're going to find out what angel number connects with pile 2's reading. Of course, number 28, I am a leader. In an effort to accomplish great things, you recognize the value of working with others. You make a capable and compassionate leader who can bring people together and drive a team toward achievement. I am a leader. It's interesting because the way I saw this reading, I did see it as more like less family oriented and more related to like job or, clubs or communities. So very interesting. Oh yeah. Okay, so now I just pulled an oracle card as your final message. And this is from the Love Who You Are Oracle deck. The message is, 41, so 41 could be significant to you, 41 could be your age. Float like you mean it. You got to show up exactly how you mean it. We already know you're confident. That's come through, especially with the Sun card. We know that you're someone who's a purveyor of justice. So float like you mean it. Float like the leader that you are, right? All right, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this message. This was a fun one for me. If you did, please hit like. Go ahead and shoot me a comment as well. Let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you feel called to, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post again. All right, I will speak to you again soon, pile 2. Take care. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the amethyst, stone. This is your reading, or the white buffalo and Vishnu. White buffalo woman and Vishnu. He's kind of cool looking. He's got like shiny blue skin. Okay, so we're going to go through the oracle cards first. I'm going to channel a little bit, then I'll pull some tarot. Then from there, after we get those messages, then I'll wrap up the reading with an angel number and a final oracle message from Love Who You Are oracle deck. Okay, so with that, first I'm going to channel some messages for you. So what I see for pile 3 is you're someone who sets a lot, so that you guys are my spiritual deck in the house. Like, you're the one who kind of sets the tone for a lot of people. I've felt your deck before, so I think you're definitely part of the collective for sure. The subscriber base, because you are like kind of like the spiritual leader in the fact that you set a tone of peace and you're constantly working toward balance. You're someone who really understands like not to get caught up in the everyday kind of petty grievances. And you serve as an example for a lot of people who worry about things like that. They worry about like, you know, how am I going to get through today? Like, this happened and it's like it ruins their whole day. And they'll call you for perspective. So what the psychic would say about you right out the gate is that you're incredibly mature, you're very understanding, you're a very loving person, but you also are realistic. You notice with the white buffalo woman, you notice here, there is clearly a warrior here that's right underneath her. You understand when there's time for peace and there's kind of time for war. Hence, what I think is so beautiful is that I just did these random shuffles to pull these cards out. So I didn't know how they're going to relate. But Vishnu is representing balance. You live in a real world where war may have to happen, where conflict may have to happen. And at the same time, peace is ideal. And that's what you strive for as the white buffalo woman. You're leading into peace and you're leading into balance. But you do understand that balance requires both sides and understanding when is the best time to implement either action. This is something that stands out about you. You are a spiritual leader. You're someone who is, you're someone that people will strive to be, as far as like, they'll be like, oh, I wish I was more like pile 3. Like, they're just, they just seem to be so much more understanding than me, or they just don't seem to be triggered as easily as me, or they just seem to really be, you know, in the vibe that, you know, is ideal, and they're not really getting angry and all these other things. Like, people think very highly of you, pile 3. Okay, so let's pull some oracle cards now that we have the basic messages here. So what would a psychic say about pile 3? What would they say about you? So the intention of this reading, of course, is to hype you up. The Death card, yeah. It's that balance. Ace of Cups, okay. Interesting. 3 of Cups in reverse. Six of Swords. Okay. Let's see if I can get the last one there. How can I get this to fit? I feel like I can get one more in there. 2 3s, 33 or 333 could be significant to you. I have personally been seeing a lot of 3s. So that means that after I channel this, I may need to watch it. There may be messages. Okay. So, pile 3. What would a psychic say about you? Right out the gate is that you are master at transformation. You know how to, I would say like an actor in a play, or like a, which kind of made me think of that because of the red curtain. It almost looks like she's on a stage, right? Actor in a play or in a movie. you can transform everything about yourself. People have watched it. So what a psychic would tell them is that you're constantly evolving. You're constantly growing and challenging everything that you believe about yourself, everything that you believe about the world around you. You are at a stage, when I said that you're very evolved, I see this even more clearly with the Ace of Cups, because this energy is about, frankly, love. It's about being in a creative headspace as well as in a compassionate headspace. You have really learned how to love yourself, how to be compassionate with yourself, how to understand how you got to whatever circumstances you're in and hold peace with that. Hold inner peace. Hence, Buffalo, peace. I said earlier, like, there's a time for war, there's a time for peace. For you, there may have been times, because like I said, I feel like you're my spiritual pile. And in fact, I feel like you guys have gone through awakenings, or you've done some deep dives, you've done shadow work. The reason why I say that is because the death card represents you've gone through cycles within yourself. You've gone through times where maybe you're at war with yourself, meaning you're trying to force yourself to be somebody that you're not. You're trying to force yourself into friendships and relationships that you know you shouldn't be in. Or maybe you're trying to force yourself into a job or into a community that doesn't really serve you. This is a spot in your life where if a psychic was talking about you, even now, it could have been 10 years from now, or it could be 20 years in the future, this message stays the same because this is in your DNA. This is not a moment. This is a part of your overall story. And so you may, as I'm reading this message, you may be like at a part of it and you're like, well, I'm not at that part yet. I would say, pay attention to where you're at a year from now, or where you're at 6 months from now, or even 3 months from now. Like, this will be an evolving message for some. For others, it's just going to be nothing but confirmations you were there. But just know that there's a mix of you listening. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge that, especially for your pile. The other two piles didn't have this, but for your pile, you guys are so spiritual and you're all kind of like leveling up in all these different ways. If this doesn't resonate for you and you're not on a spiritual path, I would encourage you to look at another pile. But I feel like everybody that chose 3, this is true. And it's not even like you've never been through anything. You've done something. You've done some sort of spiritual work, something. Because this death card represents something that's true to form, is that transformation energy that allowed you to find inner peace. It's that inner love, as reflected by the Ace of Cups, that allowed you to let compassion flow for yourself so you can own everything that you are. So you are at peace with who you are. She's not, if you look at her face, it's like content. She's at peace, right? She doesn't look like stressed or anything like that. I'm pointing this out because this is incredibly important. You're at peace with who you are. It doesn't mean you love everything about your life. It doesn't mean that you have nothing else to fix or change. No, it just means, you know what? You're happy in your skin. And for some of you, it could be the first time. For some of you, it'd be like, wow, it's been a while. I didn't realize I was this far away from myself. It could just be a little bit, a little tweak that you've done recently. And you're like, yes, I feel so much like myself again. Whatever your story is, if you feel like called to share it in the comments. I'd be fascinated to hear, because I definitely feel a connection with this pile. Okay, so the 3 of Cups in reverse, you did this all on your own, okay? That's what this is about. This card has 3 women on it. I'm sorry, I have to mute so many of these cards because of YouTube. I'm not monetized yet, but I'm looking to be, right? So I have to be safe. But anyway, so we're looking at these 3 women and, they're dancing around, they're enjoying each other's company. This is like a card of like friendship, of togetherness, of all those things. Because it was in reverse, and because of what we're talking about, this represents you went through this death cycle and found this self-love and found this inner peace on your own. Doesn't mean you haven't maybe had a couple people around on the journey, but you walk the majority of this path on your own. So I called you a spiritual leader in the beginning. I hadn't even pulled tarot yet, but it's proof that you are. It's proof that you're somebody who's just this is what you are, this is why you're here on earth, like doing what you do. And you guys know this, like I'm preaching to the choir. You know what you're here for. And this is just a confirmation. You already know. This is just like, oh yeah, this is my pile. Like you know. Six of Swords energy. Let me show you this energy. It's interesting because I remember the first time I saw this card, I'm like, where's the swords? But they're actually, it's like on their little boats. Very cute. Okay, the Six of Swords energy. What are we talking about here? This is about transition. This is about release. This is about letting things go. In order to fully transform, you can't hold on to the past. And you have to be able to forgive it, right? You have to be able to release it. And so a lot of times forgiving is release, or at least recover from it. Not carry in other old wounds into your future. This is something you've done incredibly well. Pile 3, you have literally gotten in your little boat here and taken off to new territory because you were not happy where you're at. This is such a beautiful representation of what you've done, how you've transformed. And you've done this cycle, I feel like multiple times for a lot of you. Even if you've just done it once, this is confirmation you've done it. And if it comes up again, you know it like the back of your hand. Like I said, this is in your DNA. So this is just going to be a confirmation for you of what you've done and the pieces that it took to get there, which really was just love and compassion for yourself, going within, knowing that this is an independent journey. It's not for anybody to follow with you. You can't bring anybody out of the mire with you. You just take yourself and you just go on this path with the Six of Swords. So this Three of Wands energy comes out next. And this is energy where, you know, of course, you have... So if we look at this, the way the cards, you know, she's going toward this island. I'm going to show you in the Six of Swords, right? So let's just say she's going here. She's going to land here. She's from far away. Okay, fine. Well, how does that relate to Three of Wands? Because now she's there and now she's reaching, she's expanding, she's stretching herself for new goals, for new opportunities, okay? This is a card where we talk about looking ahead. We're talking about growth. And we're also talking about balance. Because what did you learn from this cycle the most is just the cycle that you're going to have balance along the way, right? That self-love and go through an independent journey. This is all messages that are coming that a psychic would tell someone about you. It's about the fact that you're a spiritual leader, the fact that you can go through these journeys and you're so strong on your own and that you have a very clear mission in life. They would talk about your sense of natural peace with your natural sense of balance. But what else would they talk about? Let's ask Spirit to give us a few more cards. What else would the psychic say? What else would they say about pile 3? Seven of Cups. You have a lot of choices in front of you. All good ones. All good ones. The Fool energy, of course. I knew more major arcana would come out. Queen of Wands energy. I love it. Like I said, this is one of those decks where I do have to mute the cards a lot. So my apologies. As you see, blue post-its everywhere. Okay. So the Seven of Cups. All right. When we look at this energy, this is like, they would talk about the fact that you constantly have so many avenues and choices. You're a very gifted group. So you can kind of manifest a lot of different futures. You can manifest a lot of different gifts in your life as well because of your psychic gifts, because of your intuition, because of your ability to manifest. So with the Seven of Cups energy, what I see for you is that what the psychic would say is that they have so much energy and so much abundance, that you have so much energy and abundance that you can really go anywhere that you want. And that's why this transformation energy is very important to point out, especially the psychic would lean into this with someone that's asking about you, because they need to understand you're going to be constantly evolving throughout your lifetime. So they have to kind of be willing to follow you there and respect your process. Because of the Seven of Cups energy, you have so much potential to go any way you want and anywhere you want. And because you have this beautiful qualities of peace and balance, you can go through it with very little struggle. Now, you will have struggle. The Ten of Swords points that out. But this energy is just talking about sometimes, there will be a sense of loss. Sometimes it'll be an ending that's not the most pleasant one, right? As it was represented by the Ten of Swords. But remember that Ace of Cups energy. Whenever you're in this Ten of Swords energy, you naturally lean into your Ace of Cups energy because you've already learned to do this. You naturally lean into your ability to love, your ability to get excited, to be creative about the future, to understand that this is just a moment. Now, the other thing, when we talked about how you are constantly evolving, the Fool card came out. This is a very important card for you because this card represents new beginnings. It represents spontaneity, going after something without having a clear understanding of where you're headed. Again, we talked about how you had to be alone to really heal and to be able to move forward with your next steps as the Six of Swords and Three of Wands. The Fool energy shows, like, when you're alone, you naturally step into this Fool energy. You naturally get that ability to step into the Six of Swords and make the decision to leave something behind and pursue a new path. That's so natural to you, and it's something that you're someone who is spontaneous. You could be very free. People don't understand how you're able to do this. You're someone that people often say reinvents themselves. You would be someone, if you're related to like the entertainment field, there's a lot of times we talk about like, oh my God, they went away for 2 years, they came back, they reinvented themselves, they came back, they broke the internet. That's you, pile 3. You have that capability. Remember the Seven of Cups, you could reinvent yourself several times in this lifetime. Every time it's going to be a spectacle, okay? So really, whatever future you want is yours. I don't say that often, and I don't say that just like trying to fluff you up. It's just the truth. It's here in the cards. So we have the Queen of Wands. This Queen of Wands energy shows what it takes to get there and what you naturally have. We're talking about courage, right? We're talking about, doesn't she look cheerful? She's very cheerful. We're talking about, using your passion, of course, because this is wand energy. As you go into new beginnings, really leaning into your Queen of Wands, your natural intuition, your natural sense of courage, your natural sense of happiness. These are all things that help you manifest that much faster. You are very determined, so it's not always going to be just kind of woo-woo, right? You're going to put together strategies and plans on how to do things. But what's so amazing for you, about you and for you, is your future. It's the idea that really the world's your oyster. If a psychic was talking to someone that's asking about you, they would say that you are a lottery ticket as a person. Don't let them get away. Spend a lot of time with them. They're someone who not only is great to be around, but they have a very stellar future. And it's someone that for you guys are not people that have not had challenges. It's the fact that you've had them and have done so well working through them. So then we have the Seven of Swords energy. I do love this energy a lot. Now this energy is often like kind of about like getting away with something, or it can be seen as kind of mischievous. The way I see it for you is that you do have a tendency to just, with the Three of Wands energy, that growth, right? You're always going after something. You do have a tendency to just kind of get away with like success. You have a tendency to just be able to use strategy to hit that next step. So remember how I said you're using your Queen of Wands energy, but part of that energy is determination. That determination is reflected in the Seven of Swords. This is all about how you balance it out. You know how to balance your energy in such a beautiful way as represented by Vishnu. And then we already know about your peaceful energy and how you maintain that, as we talked about earlier. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some angel number messages card. I love these cards. They seem to be like always just right on with what we're talking about. Okay, you have card 7. I am brilliant. You possess a very refined mind and deep urge to uncover life's mysteries. Your ability to acquire vast knowledge on both the informational and spiritual planes gives you a greater awareness than most. I am brilliant. It plays right in here, especially with balance. They talked about how you get information from both planes, right? So from a physical and a spiritual sense. This, again, is balance, right? This is why you are brilliant. Pile 3, you are so brilliant. This is why. Like, you are meant. And I didn't even, it's interesting, I picked up the deck. This was the bottom of the deck. I didn't even mean to pull it, but this is from the Love Who You Are Tarot. Card 21. 21 could be significant to you. It could be your age. It could be somebody else's age that you know. Sing your song. Sing your own song. So when we think about the combination of I am brilliant and sing your own song, pile 3, really the go away message here is that you're stepping into shining your full light. And when you're shining your full light, all these blessings of the 7 of Cups is going to come to you. And you don't have to be worried about whatever happens in the meantime. Challenges are going to come up. That's part of life. You already have a blueprint on how to work through every challenge you'll ever get because you have the base here, right? We talked about it. You have this ability naturally to work through these transitional periods, to use self-love, to understand when you're in this 10 of Swords vibe, like this very, like this deep kind of heavy vibe. Self-love takes you out of it, a bit of independence, a bit of that Fool energy, and then you're back on target. That's what makes you incredible, pile 3. That's what Psychic would tell your friend if they asked about it. All right. With that, I hope you enjoyed the message. If you did, please hit like. Also, subscribe. I'd love to have you part of the channel. You can hit the notifications bell so you know when I post. And then, of course, if you feel called to comment. I love to hear from everyone to just understand what messages connected with you, what made sense. I love hearing from you. So give me a comment if you feel inclined to. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time, pile 3. Take care.